Today is going to be one of the most incredible days you will ever experience because you will finally, maybe as am I, come to grips with what is happening before our very eyes. Without further ado, official Nirvana, thank you so much, weirdos for Trump, right off the bat. Beneficence, philanthropy, wind in our sails. Thank you for that. And also, Philip is a brand new member right off the bat. And I got to tell you something, your support means so much to us because what we're trying to do is we are creating a revolution of truth. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I know this may sound completely concocted, but it's the truth. I speak common sense. Absolutely common sense. This is the world that I live in. It's not about party politics. It's not about left and right or any of this stuff. It's not about that. It's about common sense. And I'm not a Republican, and I'm not a Democrat, and I'm not left, and I'm not right. And I think you're the same way. And what we've been able to do, believe it or not, up till now, is to parlay, to get to ask people very simple that they believe in. What do you think is right? What do you think is wrong? What do you think is going on? What do you think? How do you think this is even managing? It fascinates me, ladies and gentlemen. And what we are seeing right now is a couple of things. First, you are seeing the a move on the part of Donald Trump in the last days of the election. Think about this. In the last 21 days, technically of the election, because don't forget the election is going on right now, write-in ballots and the like. Don't ever forget that. But 21 days to go, and you have an opponent with more unforced errors that you can imagine. Ladies and gentlemen, we cannot, friends and colleagues and patriots, there is a God, and she loves America. She is saying, you've been steadfast, you have been consistent, you've been dedicated. Watch what happens now. Truth will prevail. And instead of them doubling down, having everything worked out, having everything lined up, having every move, every endorsement, every media buy, everything to the letter, to the date, everything fixed. They don't. They're just, and this is what I want to explain something to you about, because I know I always say, don't ask why, but I think this is interesting to understand a little bit about the mentality of these people. And it reflects a little bit about what we're doing today. So anyway, dear friends, please sit back, get ready, wait until you see what I show you, and wait until you see. You are going to feel so great today, so enlivened, so invigorated. You're going to say, I need this. And I'm never, ever, ever going to tell you something just to make you feel better. I'm going to tell you the truth. But first, my friend, this important word from our sponsor. We live in the most advanced era in human history. There have never been more medical breakthroughs than there are right now. So why are millions of Americans more unhealthy and overweight than they've ever been? Now, according to U.S. board-certified physician and expert nutritionist, Dr. Amy Lee, one of the main reasons is 3 harmful foods that are being passed off as health foods all over the country. Now, wait until you hear this. Because these foods can cause weight gain, clog your digestive tract, deplete your energy, and wreck your skin, they are banned in other countries. Yet, shockingly, they're still legal in the U.S. It's time someone shined a light on what they are. Dr. Amy Lee does just that while explaining how the side effects from these foods are wreaking havoc on the health of millions of Americans. The great news is it's easy to stop and reverse this damage by simply learning which foods to avoid and how to spot them. And by doing so, you can experience easier weight loss, smooth digestion, and vibrant energy. To find out these 3 fake health foods Go to 3harmfulfoods.com/Lionel. That's number 3, 3harmfulfoods.com/Lionel, or click on the link in the description below. After years of extensive study, Dr. Amy Lee put together a revealing video totally free to the public so you never get duped by these foods again. Find out all you need to know to regain control over your body at 3harmfulfoods.com/Lionel, or click on the link in the description box below. I told you this before, that I am so shocked at what a bunch of rank amateurs this Kamala team is. I really, seriously, I do not understand this. You would have had in any other situation everything lined up weeks, months, years ago. You would have been able to see, as we say, if you've ever pitched anything before, how do I say this? If you pitched before like a company about an idea, it's the two of the worst things I hope you never go through in your life. Okay. Root canal without anesthesia is, of course, one. But first of all, is an audition. If you ever go to audition something, it is, to me, the worst. Horrible. It is so bad. It is. You've never felt so insignificant when you're standing outside and people are reading, their sides, and oh my, it's the worst. The worst. That, and also pitching, when you sit around a table and somebody comes in and takes notes and they don't know what they're talking about. And they always talk about the arc. The arc. One time I sat down with somebody, it was ABC. It was so interesting. It was very, very simple. It was very, very simple. It was an idea I had, which I just gave. This is when ABC, when it really mattered, when networks mattered. Anyway, so Mrs. L and I are there. And I'm explaining something. It's very, very simple. And it's yet to be done. It's yet to be done. It was a very simple show about how UFOs, how there is information and data out there that you know nothing about. That's all. Very simple. And they say, what about the arc? The arc? What are you talking about? The arc. What is the trajectory of the... So what are you talking about? It's this network speak. Okay. Keeping that in mind when you have a movie, a play, a musical, there's a development, there's the arc, there's the finale, the denouement, the conclusion, the takeaway, the call for action, the whatever it is, you have to have the ta-da, and that's the moment. The ta-da. What is it? There's no ta-da for Kamala. It's as though one of two things: they deliberately threw this, or they just don't understand anything. Period. Crypto Domini says, morning, Uncle Lenny. Little song and dance, a little seltzer in your pants. Ah, chuckles the clown. One of the greatest moments of my particular history. Let me see if I can explain this to you. And before we forget, first and foremost, this is the thing which I don't get. I don't understand this. Maybe you can help me. The first thing I would do, very simply, I would pick up the phone or I don't know why I said pick up the phone. This is my phone. I'm more like a microphone. I look at Broderick Coffer. Look at me. I'm highway patrol, 1 Adam 12. See the man. I would pick up the phone and tell my Arcus, drop what you're doing. I want there to be a convocation, a huge like the Berlin airdrop on North Carolina, whatever it is, and big line brought to you by Harris, by Harris. Forget Biden, Harris. I want you to overwhelm them. Nothing. Florida, Helene, nothing. Milton, nothing. Asheville, North Carolina. Mrs. L is she's beside herself. We've always wanted to take her to see the Biltmore. It's just, they don't care. They don't care. There are people still they're out of food, out of power, you don't hear about this. This is the part which is the most important thing. We have learned, and I'm going to get a little, dare I say, conspiratorial with you, which is the word they love, which is not really a conspiracy, but They think you are sheeple. They think that you were some kind of a pack animal able to be led different places. And they saw how you lost your minds during COVID. They saw this. It was very important. It was a beta test. It was a dress rehearsal for how compliant and pliant and silly and stupid and sad we are. It was the most incredible things. Remember when grocery stores then were picked clean? Remember during COVID, there were things like toilet paper runs, and that was just mild. We see it here during snow days. And the media love to point out, look how they're going crazy. What do you think would happen in the case of a real crisis? Bill Gates and other people have been talking about predictions. They've been telling you. And they're telling you China's buying out all the food. Bill Gates is buying this. They're talking about Bugs, World Economic Forum, Klaus Schwab. You'll learn to have lesson, enjoy it, or whatever it was. And when America faces a true disaster, what do you think? What do you think is going to happen? Something that makes the pandemic look like a walk in the park. Imagine this: roads closed, trains stopped, maybe ships sitting in cargoes. Remember this? Remember the supply chain in LA? Remember that? Shelves wiped clean, empty. It looks like a ghost town. And the media coming in to report this, to emphasize the tragedy, emphasize, because they need ratings and people love, fear porn. So they're going to move into that one. And you can believe it's going to happen again. What are you going to do? And this is the most important thing for the people have never really thought about this. What is your family going to eat? Right now, My Patriot Supply, I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you must listen to this. They have got a deal of a lifetime. This is so important, so critical. Right now, as we speak, there is a 3-month. This is important. This is the deal of a deal of a deal. A 3-month emergency food kit. You can save up to $508 in extras. We're not talking about the luxury package. We're talking about survival. It's that simple. Survival. 2,000 calories a day for 90 days. It's 25 years shelf life. Go through it. See what you're talking about. This is the best. It is reusable, oxygen levels. You can do waterproof their buckets. Preparewithlionel.com. Go there right now. Preparewithlionel.com. And also send and see what else is available for you. They're telling you right now. Remember, this is how sick these bastards are. They love to tell you ahead of time. This is what we're going to do. Preparewithlionel.com. It's like they used to say that about Larry Bird. Larry Bird, they called him a trash talker. He would tell you, I'm going to come over here. I'm going to do a 3-jumper with my left hand. I'm going to turn around, slap your mama, and he would do it. He would do it. Now, let's go through this and understand my background, why I love things. I love behavior. I'm not into issues. Issues bore me. It's the behavior. Remember, if you can't hear a sound, I'm wasting my time trying to create that sound. If you can't understand it or grasp something, I'm wasting my time trying to create that sound. If I don't understand your personality, what fears motivate you, I'm wasting my time. History will remember this. History will say that when the greatest thing that ever happened to us, believe it or not, was the internets. I know you're going to laugh at that. Whatever. No. The internets changed everything. And the reason for that is very, very simple. We were able at any time. This morning, I get up first very, very, very early, grab my phone, and I'm listening to music, always a little Nick Drake. I'm listening to a Brazilian love affair, Deline Ferraz, kind of getting going, starting off, is how I ease into my day. Music. That's the way I start off. Not my coffee, not whatever. It's the music. It sets me literally, bruh. It sets my pace. So as I'm doing, I go right to X, Twitter. That's my thing. Forget Fox News and I see what is coming up. Today is the 30th whatever anniversary of Pulp Fiction. I had no idea. They have musical things. They have different. Pulp Fiction was one of the most seminal, critical moments in telling people how movies can be told. Raising Arizona was one of the greatest shows ever that started with the credits in the middle of I loved it in the middle of the show. Who thought about that? All right. So as I'm looking through this, individual folks have their machine narrowcast the world to them. People will look back and they will remember people like Kamala está quemada. Listen to this. This says it all.
What we see is so hard to see that we lose faith or a vision of those things we cannot see but must know.
If that doesn't tell you everything, one more time, please.
Because what we see is so hard to see.
What we see is so hard to see
that we lose faith. Or a vision of those things we cannot see but must know.
Or a vision of those things which we cannot see. That's it right there. Carla, the cooking CEO, says the path of the righteous man is beset on all sides by the inequities of the selfish and the tyrannies of evil men. Indeed. You use words like righteous. Quick, what does righteous mean? Let me show you what Uncle Lenny does. I know what righteous means. Righteous brothers, righteous, but I always look up and I read the definition. And the definition is a wonderful thing because it just puts me into the word. Righteous, of a person or conduct, morally right or justifiable, virtuous. Informal, very good. And by the way, informal means something is very good, righteous, very good, but it means upright, virtuous, decent, upstanding, worthy, ethical. These are the words. I learned a new one today in our new vernacular, hag maxer. Gretchen Whitmer, there was a great if you go to my Twitter at Lionel Media, there is this fantastic, listen to this. This is the best, headline. Let me see if I can get it for you. Oh, here we go. This is from Zero Hedge. Ready for this? Quote, Whitmer apologizes for lesbian hag-maxing Dorito stunt after Catholic backlash. Now, by the way, Marina Abramovich, I put up a post. Not a post, but I looked at kind of like a corollary, like a comparison. And there are words, there are things that tend to evoke notions of satanic without being satanic. Last night I watched for the millionth time this special on the Son of Sam, and my friend Maury Terry was right. Berkowitz was pursuant to or part of a kind of a satanic group, ladies and gentlemen, not what you might think one way or the other. But anyway. But there's this one. Huh? Oh, good. See? Be very careful also, ladies and gentlemen, of bots, machine learning. Can I tell them the story? I think it's the most important thing. Mrs. L was at Times Square with parents who lost their children to fentanyl, not fentanyl, Y-L, Benadryl, not Benadryl. Anyway. And they, how do I say this? They, she posted it, and it was about fentanyl. And Instagram, which is Facebook, through some weird machine learning, interpreted what she was doing as her selling. Was it selling drugs, promoting drugs? Selling and buying and promoting drugs, and she's standing there with signs about fentanyl. And she's standing there with DEA members, and this machine learning lunacy attempted to do this. Okay, stop for a second. Next move. Let me show you who's very good. But I want you to listen to me very carefully. I want you to watch this. I want you to be my focus group. The first group is, what is the message? Pardon me. What is the message here? Are you buying this? I had a great years ago when I was in law school. I was in Bradenton, or Bradington, as they call it, Manatee County Courthouse. And there was this guy, this old trial lawyer. We were watching this fellow doing a closing. And I said, he's pretty good. He said, no. He was actually he had snuff in the courtroom. Something like that. And he never spit anything. I don't understand how he did it. It's like worm dirt, not a chaw, but he, going like that. And he said, no, what's wrong with it? And I looked, he said, well, he explained it real good, but he didn't persuade me. See, I don't believe him, but it sounded good. See, that's the thing. Now, let me show you something. One of the slickest guys ever is this fellow. And I want you to watch him very carefully.
Basketball fan, Barack Obama. I'm going to talk about my favorite starting five. If I just put together a team where I would enjoy watching it and I think they'd beat anybody. I'm from Chicago. MJ, Michael Jordan at shooting guard.
He's from Chicago. My ass.
I'd put LeBron at point forward. A bunch of times he'd be bringing up the ball and he'd be distributing. He'd basically be doing some of the stuff that he didn't recently in the Olympics, and that is a pretty good approximation of what Magic.
Okay, stop right now. I don't want to spend my whole time with this. Now, he's good. But do you believe him? Now, most important, I would get a number of black folks that say, what do you think? You've been lied to by everybody. You've been lied to. You've been lied to. What do you think about it? I think people would say, well, at the time he seemed good, but now we've learned a lot. He comes across as phony. He doesn't have it. As the kids say, he's phoning it in, ladies and gentlemen. Phoning it in. Now, let me tell you a message that works. Talk about, as Carlos says, the righteous. This is a message that works. And listen to, again, the feeling I'm trying to get. What am I trying to invoke? What am I trying to get for somebody? 21 days until the election. This is the idea. This, if ever there is a feeling of the Trump campaign, it's this.
Almost anything.
Let me try this again.
Buy you almost anything.
All right.
It can't buy you immortality. That you have to earn. I'm gonna look you in the eyes and I'm gonna tell you the future. It's an American story, and that's why Americans are gonna love it. People are gonna build you up. God, are they going to? Because when you're great and new, we love you. Man, we'll build you into something that doesn't even exist. You're gonna change the fucking world. But you know what? Once they've built you as high as they possibly can, they're gonna tear you back down. It's the most predictable pattern. We build you into something that doesn't exist, and that means you have to try to be that thing. All day, every day. That's how it works. And we do it again, and again, and again. And I'm gonna tell you the truth. You're gonna be attacked, betrayed, exposed, and humiliated. And you'll survive that. A lot of people can climb that mountain. It's the way down that breaks them. Because that's the moment when you are truly alone. And what will you do then? Can you summon the will to fight on through all the pain and rise again? That will be the defining question of your life. And I think you already know the answer. And that's why we're all here. A shoe is just a shoe. Until somebody steps into it. Then it has meaning. The rest of us just want a chance to touch that greatness. And we need you in these shoes, not so you have meaning in your life, but so that we have meaning in ours. Everyone will be forgotten as soon as our time here is up. Except for you. you're going to be remembered forever. Because some things are eternal. And your story is going to make us fight and never give up.
Now, let me tell you something. What did we learn from that? Learned a lot. Remember the notion of Juvenal, the Roman poet? Bread and circuses, ladies and gentlemen. What did that teach us? Bread and circuses. Ryan says if Trump wins not only the Electoral College, but the popular vote, whose head is going to roll in the Democratic Party, and what will their excuses be for their loss? Answer, no one. There is no Democratic Party. No one will care. No one will. Believe it or not, because the lattice work, the fundamental basis and bases of the party are such, and this is important to note, that the corruption is so there that even if they win or don't win, the shadow government is there. The shadow government, oh God, for the love of God, the people that represent the underlying, Washington, and they're still there. So to answer your question, and perhaps not circuitously, but it really won't matter. You see, this is a very good point. We have people we know that we look to, and they say, "Yeah, but don't you understand this? We don't care. We don't really care. Meh. That's the whole thing. Whatever. We don't care. We really don't care. We don't really, honest to God, we really don't care. It doesn't, it doesn't matter. We don't care. It honest to God, doesn't matter." Raul says, Trump has given meaning to my life, which is very, very true. But also, Raul, the whole notion about bread and circuses is that it's tribal. The reason why right now, watch what's happening as we get into the World Series. It's more than just a game. It's more than just an event. It's about who you are and your colors and your team. We've seen this forever. The deep state is one thing, but it goes more than that. Let me give you another example. This is the message. This is how smart. Listen to how this is Capra-esque, how they use songs and music and how they I want you to compare. I want you to ask yourself, what does that make you feel like? These are feelings that go to the core of every human being. Every human being feels that. Every human being, one way or another, it taps into something. Unity, leadership, team, something valiant. The Democratic Party, as of late, maybe before, has never ever talked about the country. It's always about me individually. Years ago, there was somebody who said the difference between marijuana and cocaine. Marijuana is this, here, pass it around. Cocaine is this, me, get away. It's a different mindset. It's selfish. It's leave me alone. The Democrats are me. It's about abortion, my abortion. Not we're going to be We're going to join together to fight for a woman's. No, it's about me, 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 me. What are they talking about? Abortion. Abortion. And open borders. Now, what's also wonderful about the internet is that it never forgets. Here's Kamala in a prior life.
Someone is here without documents, and that is their only offense. Is that person to be deported?
I will say, no, absolutely not. They should not be deported. And I actually, this was one of the very few issues with which I disagreed with the administration, with whom I otherwise had a great relationship and a great deal of respect. But on the secure communities issue, I was Attorney General of California. I led the second largest Department of Justice in the United States, second only to the United States Department of Justice in a state of 40 million people. And on this issue, I disagreed with my president because the policy was to allow deportation of people who, by ICE's own definition, were non-criminals.
You are a criminal if you break the law to enter a country. You are, madam, a criminal per se.
So as Attorney General and the Chief Law Officer of the state of California, I issued a directive to the sheriffs of my state that they did not have to comply with detainers.
I issued a directive to my sheriffs that they did not have to comply with detainers. I did an inverse of the supremacy clause and countermanded the federal government.
Problem with this kind of policy, and I know it as a prosecutor, Senator, I want a rape victim to be able to run in the middle of the street and wave down a police officer and report the crime against her. I want anybody who has been the victim of any real crime to be able to do that and not be afraid.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. See how that works? That's the message of these people. That's the message. Let's look at some other messages, shall we? Let's see what the border agents, the people who are on the border themselves, the people who know a little bit about this, let's see what they think.
I have a message for you. If we allow Borders R. Harris to win this election, every city, every community in this great country is going to go to hell. The untold millions of people, unvetted, who
16,000 Border Patrol agents, by the way, endorsed President Trump.
Who she has allowed into this country that are committing murders, rapes, robberies, burglaries, and every other crime will continue to put our country in peril. Only one man can fix that. That is Donald J. Trump. He has always stood with the men and women who protect this border, who put their lives on the line for the country. A man who knows about putting his life on the line for what is right. This November, we have a choice to make. Continue the chaos. Allow the criminal cartels to control the border, to allow drugs and fentanyl across our country, or put an end to it once and for all. On behalf of the 16,000 men and women represented by the National Border Patrol Council, we strongly support and endorse Donald J. Trump for President of the United States.
Any questions? Remember years ago how they said Trump was a misophobe, he was a germaphobe, he didn't shake anybody's hand. Remember that? He shakes everybody's hand, hugs everybody. What are you talking about? Now, here's another example of something. This is the part I don't understand of many, okay? Of many. Number one, when you're going to have And you have the greatest people available today, the greatest producers, directors, videographers, photographers, people from Scorsese to whoever the hell it is, to Tarantino. I'm sure you think you'd be real good at creating a moment, really creating a moment. Okay, when you create a moment, the first thing you got to do is, if an alleged attempt at securing some kind of message fails, you should immediately stop. Stop the filming, end it. Okay? Bill Clinton, who, by the way, is looking so bad. Bill Clinton's he can't close his mouth. He just can't close his mouth. Flies go in and go out. It's sad. He shuffles. He's not doing very well. The guy's old. It happens. But he's the hell with it. He's had his chance. So in this last moment of desperation, rather than going on and speaking to the people, communicating with the people, giving them hope and dreams and a worldview, something tangible, ladies and gentlemen. And this is, by the way, look at this. How beautiful is this? This is Maria Jose Anceres. Hello from Portugal. First time here, just to say, Lionel, you are the best. It's a pleasure to hear you. Isn't that something? Welcome. Welcome. Obrigado, as we say to our Portuguese friends. Now, Bill Clinton walks into a McDonald's. Remember when he was vegan? He was vegan for like an hour and then he stopped, whatever. Anyway, he walked into a McDonald's and this woman doesn't know who the hell he is. Let's watch this. And this somehow got out into the internets, as Senator Stevens said, a system of tubes. Now watch this. There's Bill Clinton. Now remember, there are people standing behind him. Cameras. He has a Secret Service contingent. He has people. He's there, standing there. Bill Clinton, okay? You kind of know the name. Watch this. Now look at her face. Now watch her face. She's not sure who he is. Okay? She doesn't look that young or that old, okay? Are you Joe? Did you hear this? Are you Joe? Look at this. I heard Mr. Johnson or Mr. Biden. I don't know what that is. Maybe you can hear this one. Listen to what she says. Didn't recognize Bill Clinton. Thought he was Joe Biden. Look at Bill with the mouth open, frozen, the rictus, the maw, the By the way, doesn't that check out the look? Here I am pointing at the screen like you can see it. Can you see there? Can you see that bun? Doesn't that look like one of those poisonous mushrooms? Did you ever watch any mycological warnings? There's this guy I watch on YouTube. He hunts for mushrooms and he goes, "This is the one you don't want. A lot of red, a lot of bumps." A lot of buttons. This is even. I'm rambling. He won't let, I think he's using her to stand up. I don't think he's. I think she's like saying, "Okay, that's enough." Now, first of all, why are you letting? I would say, thank you, thank you, Secret Service. Can you get your cameras? Yeah. Call Apple. Kill that on the cloud. Yeah. Nobody see this. First of all, I don't know who he is. Don't know who he is. That's the most incredible thing in the world. You don't know who the guy is. This is my favorite. It just doesn't. One time, I had this guy who says, "I know you. I know you." No, wait. He goes, "No. I got it. I know you." And I said, "Lionel?" He says, "No." That was my favorite. The best was one time, New Year's Eve. Mrs. Al and I are walking around. It was 57th and I guess 9th. There was this little corner, kind of an old little. Remember that little diner? What was that called? Now it's Justino's. Remember that little diner that was Morning Star Diner? So we walk out, and this guy goes, "Hey, Lionel," I said, "we listen to you all the time in Rikers." Rikers on said, "Thank you." Very nice. Anyway, that's my fame. That's my fame, ladies and gentlemen. Now, you want to go back for the messages? Let's go back for messages. Because whoever is doing the message, this is running on NFL games. Watch this one. Now imagine NFL voters, all kinds of people. NFL is watching that. Watch this and tell me if this doesn't make a difference.
A father of 3, sentenced to life in prison, Kamala Harris pushed to use tax dollars to pay for his sex change.
I made sure that they changed the policy so that every transgender inmate would have access.
It sounds insane because it is insane. Kamala was the first to help pay for a prisoner's sex change.
The power that I had, I used it in a way that was about pushing for the movement, frankly, and the agenda.
Kamala's agenda is they, them, not you.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
If that doesn't do it, I don't know what does, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. Dear God, I don't know what does. I don't. Now, here's another one, too. Remember, you folks were, and I plead guilty. How many of you great folks were saying, J.D. Vance, I could have had somebody better. And people were kind of, dare I say, repeating themselves. And I found myself doing it too until I stopped myself. I said, what the hell am I doing? I'm just repeating myself. I know JD. What's wrong with JD? I don't know. Are you repeating? Yeah, I'm repeating what everybody else says. What are you talking about? I remember one time I just thought of this. Oh my God. I just had a brain fart. 1 year. This is how long ago. 1 year. My mother, we were talking to my mother and my cousin. Now figure how old this was. And it was when Laugh-In was on. And my mother said, I like Laugh-In. This is when we watched TV. Laugh-In, George Schlatter. I mean, remember, Sock It to Me. Here Come the Judge. It was Nixon. Remember Nixon? He goes, Sock It to Me. Nixon on Laugh-In. This is when they started to, it was the biggest show around. Very, very kind of an ensemble, as they say. So anyway, so my cousin, who was a little bit older than me, said, I don't think Laugh-In's very funny. And I said, yeah, me too. And she says, I'll never forget this. She says, good. Because I think it was going to, like the new season, goes, first one, you can't watch. You're not going to watch it. So what? This is when we had a TV, an appointment TV, and you didn't watch it. You had to, there were no VCRs. You watched it. You're not going to watch it. And basically later she said, you're going to agree with somebody? Good. You're going to learn. I swear to God. I said, no, I'm sorry. He goes, no, you caved in. You said, yeah, me too. You don't believe that. I didn't watch it. She was furious. Taught me a lesson. Don't ever just go along with it. Don't say, well, ask yourself. No, I like that. No, I like mushrooms. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. No, I like pineapple on pizzas. If that's what you think, you say it. Don't listen to people. Don't ever get part of the crowd. The braying, the bleating, the sheep, no. So I found myself going to say, J.D. Vance, I plead guilty because I wasn't paying attention. He turned out to be better than anything. This guy's been, 75 shows? And numbnuts is there trying to shoot a shotgun? I mean, this is the most ridiculous thing in the world. Okay, so JD was on with Martha Raddatz. Now, first of all, I don't want to talk about looks, because it's not looks, but she always looks like she's crying. She always looks like her goldfish died. Like something really sad just happened. She's got that look. I don't know. It's not a funja. It's the same they call like Chiangelina. It's like a crybaby. You're lacrimating. You're funereal. Here was one. You're a moirologist. Those are the official mourners. Remember that when you would hire somebody to mourn? Just like they have crowdsourcing, you can hire mourners to come to your funeral and cry. Just like you could also hire professional laughers at comedy clubs. They do have that too. They have that. Well, anyway, so Martha Raddatz is on with J.D. Vance, and he does one of the things which is my favorite. There is nothing better than in the middle of an argument to say, what is the matter with you? What happened to you? Are you okay? Did you hear what I said? Forget the subject matter. Ask about them. Do you want to sit down? Is it the lights? Are you having a sugar? Maybe you want to sit down. Do you know what you just said? Can you play that back, please? Wait a minute. What was that again? Let me see if I understand it. It's this, you stop. It's a great technique. You stop arguing, but you basically question their sanity. Let me get this straight. What was that again? What? Wait, did I hear that? Excuse me. Listen to this. JD just tears it up.
Incidents were limited to a handful of.
Now, first of all, what she's doing is, bless her heart, she always looks like she's going to cry. These aren't her ideas. These aren't her thoughts. Okay? This is so sad. Watch this.
The incidents were limited to a handful of apartment complexes, and the mayor said our dedicated police officers have acted on those concerns. A handful of problems.
Only, Martha, do you hear yourself? Only a handful of apartment complexes in America were taken over by Venezuelan gangs, and Donald Trump is the problem and not Kamala Harris's open border. Americans are so fed up with what's going on, and they have every right to be. And I really find this exchange, Martha, sort of interesting because you seem to be more focused with nitpicking everything that Donald Trump has said rather than acknowledging that apartment complexes in the United States of America are being taken over by violent gangs. I worry so much more about that problem than anything else here. We've got to get American communities in a safe space again. And unfortunately, when you let people in by the millions, most of whom are unvetted, most of whom you don't know who they really are, you're going to have problems like this. Kamala Harris, 94 executive orders that undid Donald Trump's successful border policies. We knew this stuff would happen. They bragged about opening the border, and now we have the consequences, and we're living with it. We can do so much better, but frankly, we're not going to do better, Martha, unless Donald Trump calls this stuff out. I'm glad that he did.
Did you hear this? Did you hear this? Are you hearing? Hang on. This is so good. Where is right here? Here we go. Here we go. Watch this.
Only, Martha, do you hear yourself? Only.
I love this. That is one of those moments that I love. It's those moments that make me say, yes, 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 yes. It is those wonderful, wonderful things. Yes, yes. Oh, Karen, cut up chatter. Yes, I received your email and will be responding forthwith. By the way, I just put in, if you would like to answer, email me, always Lionel@lionelmedia.com. Indeed, Missy, I will take care of that immediately. And thank you for that. See, this is the idea. This is the idea. This is what is so critical, my friends. This is it. This is something which I cannot tell you. This is where, ideally, common sense will prevail. Now, I want you to listen to Uncle Lenny and listen good. First of all, number one, how do you talk to people? How do you talk to people? Carla, the cooking CEO, says the media zombies have lost the spark in their eyes. Now hollow vessels, droning lifelessly, regurgitating their scripted agenda. Here. It is there is a, how do I say this? There's a wonderful, how do I say this? Developmental psychology, and also, believe it or not, some of the indicia of mental illness are such that people will sometimes find themselves in the position of repeating the drone. Repeating something which is very, 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 very droning, if that makes any sense. Okay, it's one of those things that, how do we say this? When babies, in particular, when babies are learning how to speak, they'll do things like, they do this thing called lalation. They go la 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 la. Then there's echolalia, where they repeat what you say, da 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 da. They just say repeat, and you see you see this as language develops. And then it also, sometimes when things go wrong, you see it as a pathology, Carla. And thank you for your kindness. Kindness. That's a hand fart for you. That's an approbation. Thank you. So what you do is you hear people say things. The left have never been told, nobody said, now, Martha, yes, do you know what you're doing here? No. Martha, we want you to be a spirit chaser of the ideology, yes? We want you to be able to say the right thing, yes? Do you believe what you're saying, Martha? Do you believe it? Not. And it shows. She doesn't believe it. She doesn't feel the thing that she's saying. That's the critical part. Also, reading things. Did anybody vet this? You know what he's going to do. See, this guy goes on. Where is, JD, who is it? Tim Walz. And by the way, walls. The walls come tumbling, the walls. Hello, walls. I think Farron Young did it. Willie Nelson. Walls, not waltz. The last waltz. Walls. Imprecision. It's the weirdest thing. Sometimes words, I think words, that's his name. Maybe you're doing it on purpose. I have no idea. But anyway, this guy comes out and he basically says, I'm a knucklehead. Translation, I'm a liar. I don't know what I'm talking about. This is something that we can't believe anymore. And the thing that I'm explaining is that to you, the juror, people can buy it. Remember, this is about persuasion. This is not about who's got the best team. It doesn't matter. Politics has nothing to do with competition. It's about selection. It's about opinion. If the Yankees again, or if the Mets and the Yankees and the World Series, nobody turns to the audience or the stadium and say, "What do you think?" Give it to the Mets. No, it's about scores. It's about metrics. It's about actual legitimacy in terms of this. This is a different story, my friend. This is a different story. So here's what you do when you're talking to somebody, friends of yours. Listen to Uncle Lenny. This is very important. When you're talking to somebody, remember, never engage with crazy people. I told you this before. Never get into their fantasy. I told you this. I'm going to tell you again. Years ago, we were at we were in college and a psych major. We went to this county psych ward. This was bad. I mean, this was really, these were like people couldn't afford it. This was really rough stuff. And somebody said, listen, whatever you do, first of all, do not get into the fantasy. If somebody says to you, hey, I'm a, gay, don't say, oh, really? That's it. No, you don't want to humor them. You don't want to provide affirmation and the like. There was a person one time who came in. It was a woman, and somebody came up and said, hey, and he had a ring, like a college or a high school ring. He says, hey, look, this is my ring. I'm king of the world. And she said, oh, then I must be your queen, because she had a ring on as well. A couple of days went by, whatever period of time elapsed. He came back very calmly. He says, I was thinking about this. And to the same woman, he goes, I don't think I have a queen. And he hit her so hard, he shattered the orbit in her eye. Her face, he just shattered it. It was like an eggshell. I don't know how hard he hit her, but till they said, and that got her attention, do not get into it. So when somebody is telling you something, remember also, if you have trouble, kids, I know a lot of you have eye contact problems. I know you don't want to look at people in the eye. Listen to Uncle Lenny. Look right here. Look in between their eyes, and you'll do just fine. You could stare at somebody for an hour and a half, and you're looking right between their eyes. And they swear you're staring at them. You're looking right in their eye, and you're not. And you can do this forever. When you make eye contact, they can't tell the slight alteration. Believe me, you look at them like that. That's number one. Number two, humor them. When they're talking, you talk like you're talking to a crazy person. And you never say anything such like yes or no. You say, it's very interesting. And you move off. And you dismiss them. But you're always very, very kind. Crypto says, I can't wait to deliver the walls day one of taking it back. I'll sign Lionel Nation for the writing on the walls. Thank you, sir. As will I. Next. And this also is very interesting when you work with a boss or somebody, especially if you work in the world of media. You get these idiots, these program directors and news directors. They don't know what the hell they're talking about. They'll come up with an idea. Go, hey, I got an idea. We want you to go in front of a Yankee Stadium at 4 a.m. With a sound crew and talk to me. And you say, interesting, and you walk off. You don't engage them. Don't give it like, why do you think that? You just react. Interesting. And if they ask, are you voting for Trump? Absolutely. Why? You wouldn't understand. Go off. Don't engage. Don't waste your time. These are not your friends. These are not your people. Just don't ask. Don't listen. Don't worry. They're voting because either they're Democrats or maybe they don't like Trump. I don't know. But suffice it to say, nobody likes Kamala. Kamala está quemada. Let me explain. She's burned. Kamala is burned. Let me see if I can explain this again to you. We don't care about these people. They mean nothing to us. They're not important. They're people in your life you're going to run into, and you just, we dismiss them. Indifference is the worst. It's the worst insult of them all. That's it. Next, and this is important. This is something that if it wasn't for it, we have the following. Remember, with 21 days, actual 21 days until the actual physical election, because as I said, there's stuff going on right now. Let me tell you what's going to happen, which is huge. First, do you feel the momentum move? I do. Do you see over and over and over and over and over again? Rally, 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 rally. Every time you turn it, yeah, I can't tell. There's just one thing. Right side broadcasting and next, turn off, and I'm sure you do this, cable TV. If Mrs. Allen and I want to watch something, if we're having a snack, we sit down and say, let's see what's going on. I get my iPad. I go to YouTube and I see, let's see what's going on. Trump rally, Trump this. That's where I get it. I'm not waiting for Fox News. Look, I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I'm trying my best not to make a big deal out of this, but I'm gonna make a big deal out of this. Please understand how this thing kind of sort of works, right? You've got to be okay with what you feel. Ben says, funny you mentioned Hello Walls. That song automatically pops into my head when Tampon Timmy is brought up. Great song. Farron Young, the sheriff, wrote that. Farron Young, and I think Willie Nelson wrote it. But thank you for that. Now, the internet has changed everything. The biggest thing is going to be when, and this is so perfectly done, when Trump appears on Joe Rogan. People still don't understand Joe Rogan. They don't understand it. They don't understand what this means. Let me tell you why Joe Rogan is important. Too Legit says, I would love to see Trump with a popular vote that would then get rid of and dismiss the Electoral College nonsense. You want to amend the Constitution? Now, let me say something right before we do this. Too Legit. The popular vote, do you want to just let New York and California and these other countries, states, countries, really are countries, determine the vote? Do you want to do that? Think about what you're saying. Do you want California, New York, some of the other ones? Let's say these things go the biggest. Remember, you only need 11 states and 11 victories to win the Electoral College. You really want to do this? It's a balance. Think about that. I'd love to be able to tell California, we're going to weight your population, but you don't get to call the shots. So that's a different story. Back to Joe Rogan. The reason what Joe Rogan does, especially the younger people, is Joe Rogan says, this is cool, this isn't cool. Joe Rogan, it's not an endorsement. Joe Rogan says, you want to eat meat? That's cool. UFC? That's cool. You want to bathe in ice water? That's cool. You want to, that's cool. You want to talk about the UFOs? That's cool. That's cool. Is it okay, Joe? It's okay. Is it okay? Am I doing this right, Joe? You're doing this right. Am I cool? Yeah. Is this all right? Yeah. Okay. Am I? Yes. That's all he does. He is a trend setter, literally, actually, truly. He lets people know this is okay. This is interesting. Don't feel bad. You're not going to lose your bona fides. You're not going to lose your cred if you vote or do such and such. You got that? Good. You got it? Understand? Yes. Yes, 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 yes. That's it. That's all he does. And when he puts Trump on there, remember, he doesn't have to endorse him. Elon endorsed him. Dana White endorsed him. The UFC. Rogan's in, but Rogan's smart. This is a work. This is professional wrestling. Oh, I don't know. Well, maybe. Okay, I guess I'll have him on. Wow. That drew it out. Remember, at first he said, I'm not going to have him on. They're calling me. Same thing with Tucker. Tucker, and I know you like Tucker, and he's okay, but he's very, very immature, and he's got a lot of, not demons, but he's trying to land. That's okay. I'll take him as he is. That's fine. Laura Ingraham absolutely comes across with nothing nice at all. Nothing. Say what you want. You watch people like that's it. Take Fox News. Gut bucket. Well, he's kind of smart. Okay. Judge Janine. Well, maybe I could. Laura Ingraham. She comes across as not nice. Not nice. No. She said terrible things about Trump during, remember the text messages? Tucker too. Horrible things. I'm not going to forget that, but it doesn't matter. Look, enjoy your millions. That's it. Take this ride out. It's a new world. And this doesn't matter anymore. It doesn't. I mean, God bless him. It doesn't matter anymore. See, one of the things, I got to tell you something. Have you noticed this about little babies and dogs? Do you ever, when a baby smiles, when a baby looks at you and smiles, that's the greatest endorsement, because a baby can read through the nonsense and it just can tell sincerity. That's why when you destroy innocence, it just sends me off the planet. But when a dog comes up, you ever see a dog look at you like that? There's something about it. When you're running for office, there has to be some kind of a connection. J.D. Vance connects with people. First of all, J.D. Vance, this is what your reaction is. Oh. It's different than Trump. When Trump came across, Trump comes across as boorish, braggadocious, but you got used to it. You habituated to it. There's no joke you can throw at him now. Nothing. Orange man, hombre de naranja. Nothing. You've done all the jokes. He's done it. And the thing about Trump, what he does is confident. Pardon me. He's just confident. And he doesn't really care what you say. And we know this. And for some particular reason, this crazy guy wants to be president. And he just does this. And there's something to be said for this. He doesn't have to do it. He wants to be president. And there's this third case they're disputing whether it appears to be the third assassination attempt. God knows how many assassination attempts were thwarted or changed at the last minute. So what you're seeing right now is something which goes to the existential core of what we're talking about. I will never know why they picked Kamala, why they picked Timpon Alley. I don't know why the Hag Maxer did the Doritos thing. I don't understand this. I don't understand spirit cooking. I don't understand the Podesta emails. I don't understand. I don't know why somebody let the picture of Bill Clinton not being recognized by supposedly, remember that, the first black president? They didn't even know who he was. Crypto says, that's what I've always liked about him anyway. How you got here, it doesn't matter. You might have liked him. You might have said, you know what, I really, or she might have been, thank you, sir. Thank you, too legit. She might have been so bad so horrible, so terrible, so beyond belief that people just said, you know what, the hell with it. So let me just stop right now and say Too Legit, thank you. Crypto, thank you. Ben, thank you. Carla, the cooking CEO, thank you immensely for your kindness. Cut Up Chatter, be emailing you immediately upon a conclusion of this. Ryan, thank you for your kindness as well. And official RY Nirvana, thank you, thank you, thank you. I love this. He said, let's go. Weirdos for Trump. That's me. And Peter Petchow, thank you as well for being our new, I love being weird. I love it. There was this great years ago on Hee Haw. Remember, it was a Cole Haynes. I think it was a Cole Haynes. He goes, they're not crazy, merely foolish. If we weren't crazy, we'd all go insane. I want to be atypical. I don't want to be usual. I want to be weird. I want to be different. I want to be everything that they are not. Evan says, heard them Dems were trying to get print on demand ballots machines for hurricane areas. This from Robert Gouvet. Have you heard this? I've heard a variety of things, up to and including, by the way, people suggesting that one of the reasons for a lot of not so much causing the hurricane, but in not responding to it is to make Florida pay and to make Florida inhospitable for voting so that President Trump will not be able to enjoy those individuals who are helping him. So we will see. To be sure. To be sure. All right, dear friends. Remember. The 4th of November. Remember, was it the Guy Fawkes? In any event, preparewithlionel.com right now. Remember, I want you to go there and just look. There is something that you are not availing yourself of in terms of water purification, seeds, biomass, food, water. I never thought this would be the resounding cry of the 21st century patriot, but it is gold or silver or gold. Remember this, because everything they said, gold, water, food, energy, and ammo. The ammo part, we are going back to the basics of love, as Lukenbach, Texas would intone. We're going back to some very serious things because they are telling us. Let me also tell you something, my friend. They're planning new mask restrictions in California. Did you see this? They're not going away. These people are not going away. Remember, they're like herpes. They have like flare-ups, that you never know when it's going to come up again. You just suppress them. You keep them down. They're not going away. And what they've done is, remember, the shadow government, this radical left nihilistic, anarchist, whatever this nonsense is, they have, like a virus, taken over the collective thought process of the Democratic Party. They've invaded this. They've rewired the DNA of the Democratic Party. Democrats of 20 years ago are not the Democrats today. They don't even realize it. They've been taken over by, think about it like almost like an ideological organized crime, like OC went after the Teamsters and went after unions. That's what this is. These are not Democrats. These are not liberals. These are not progressives. There are people who took this over and they put all of their effort in saying, just hate Trump. Don't listen to what we're doing. Abortion, yeah. But hate Trump. What about the border? Yeah. Hate Trump. And what about the economy? Yeah. Hate Trump. What about eating cats? Hate Trump. And whenever Trump points something out, you point and say, wait a minute, what? Just for example, when you talk about weather modification, weather alteration, weather weaponization, people say, wait a minute, are you suggesting that what? They change the weather? They say exactly what the truth is, but in a way that sounds far-fetched. Wait a minute, are you suggesting that this shadow government actually employs the members of the media to pronounce and propound and propitiate to an extent a way of thinking that is a part of some kind of a of a plan? Or yes. I mean, are you saying yes? I'm telling you that. That's precisely what we're talking about right now. Okay? You got it? Okay. All right, dear friends. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Have a great and glorious day. Make sure you remain subscribed to Lionel Nation. Make sure, double check right now. People are unsubscribed. I don't know why that is. Also, Lionel Legal. You are not going to believe what is happening. Also, those who are members of Lionel Nation, there's a wonderful little piece I did yesterday about this notion of weather modification. I'm being vindicated. And not just me, but others as well. But I am being vindicated like you cannot believe. Weather manipulation, it is here, my friends. It is here. It is happening. Go right now, follow, subscribe, be aware of what's happening. And whatever you do, never, ever, ever, as my mother taught me, never give in just because you're the only one in a group who all of a sudden you believe something that may not be cool. If you like square dancing, if you like to wear hush puppies, if you like... I got my hush puppies on. I never was into glitter rock and roll. Jimmy Buffett said it best. But whoever you are, don't ever let anybody tell you how to think or whatever. You got that? You got that? Okay. Don't forget to follow Mrs. L at Lynn's Warriors. Especially, you got to see her latest. You should see her combat with Nancy Grace. Some of the most, by the way, NSFW kids, not for the weak. Not for the weak. It gets pretty rough. We're talking Gorilla Monsoon. We're talking King Curtis. We're talking Abdullah the Butcher. We're talking Stan Hansen against, Stan Stasiak, the Heart Punch. This is serious business. Really. It's a shoot, ladies and gentlemen. It's a shoot. All right, dear friends. Again, thank you for your kindness. See you at 7 p.m. Per usual. And don't forget, as we always end, the monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue ya. Dad.